Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
Void ship. It is the symbol of the strong man in the universe. The maximum length, width and height of a void ship is length 36,999.9 meters, width 7,999.9 meters, height 2,699.9 meters. This is length, width and height. Seriously. It's a mobile super fortress. This evolution, the keel of all men, still all using purely evolutionary methods, then parts and so on. Some are pure evolution and some are made of parts. And void ship level parts, no doubt. Extremely rare in quantity. Extremely expensive. But for the entire Cosmic Human Federation, there is still no problem in getting enough parts to evolve the brilliant fleet. And the quality is extremely high, such as super light propulsion engines and space jump engines. All adopt the component evolution method. A void ship level engine. All use a certain amount of antimatter as their driving force, and antimatter serves as the engine of power. The speed is so fast that it is unimaginable. Just say it. The evolved void ship, using the Earth Federation as a measure of distance. Then the evolved dazzling ship can reach any place in the Earth Federation from any place in the Earth Federation within 6 hours. That's the speed of a void ship. That's the speed of a super high quality void ship. Talking about starship quality, original. Zian does not plan to use immortal quality at the void ship level. It is planned to continue to maintain the original 100% golden legendary quality of the brilliance, but last action, Zian gained a lot of evolution points, including the other girls. It is naturally impossible to achieve 100% diamond-colored fairy quality. The evolution value is enough, but Zian hasn't fully understood it yet. The evolution value of the 5th grade is the 6th grade. It's really difficult. After so many years, Zian now sees that the void ship can achieve complete evolution. But in terms of quality, the 100% diamond-colored fairy quality is still not good, and this is still the evolutionist simulation that has been carried out using advanced experience. At the same time, I have my master's careful teachings over the past 3 years. In this way, Zian realized part of the quality of immortality. Otherwise, I'm afraid you have to navigate a starship or even a township level to understand some of the qualities of an immortal. Since the evolution value is enough, the quality of the immortal product has also been partially understood, especially the quality of the evolution of the main components of the starship. Zian has almost grasped it. Then the next evolution of the starship must be of immortal quality, fairy quality. Even in the entire universe, regardless of starship level, there are very few that have reached this quality, pitifully few. And it has reached the quality of immortality. They are all one of the most powerful people at this stage. Immortal quality. 800% increasing and decreasing properties. It's enough to make anyone greedy, including Zian. Nothing to say evolution. Must evolve. Immortal ship, inverted void navigation. It is a qualitative change. In other words, every stage after starting from the immortal ship. These are all qualitative changes. Every evolution since Zian will no longer be perfunctory. Rather, it is about a new design and evolution into the most suitable state at the current stage. EERO. They are already at the void ship level. So in terms of weapon systems, defense systems, engine systems, etc., the designation can no longer be petty. After all, the terrifying length of 36,999.9 meters is here. Main gun. There are only 2 doors. Yes, there are only 2 main guns. Actually, the higher the starship level, the fewer the number of main guns. For example, Master 1 Zhongshan, his starship even has only 1 main gun. There are more secondary guns and missiles. At this level, the function of the main gun is only one: pursue ultimate power and lethality. Zian also firmly agrees with this. Otherwise, what would it be called? A main gun? The two main guns of the brilliant. All parts are also evolved. It is to swallow and fuse the two void ship-level main guns with the current main guns of the brilliant ship. At the same time, the brilliant ship now has multiple main guns, then merge with each other. Eventually, only two were left. These two main guns, without exception, all use up to 20% antimatter. It's not that Zian is unwilling to use more antimatter weapons. It is a higher weight antimatter weapon, which has exceeded the limit that the brilliance can withstand. Only 20% of the antimatter main gun's power. It is enough to easily destroy any planet, no matter how huge the planet is. No matter how terrifying the mass of the planet is. Let's put it that way. Even if it is a black hole planet, one shot can blow it up instantly. And what is a black hole planet? A black hole is never a hole, but a planet. The reason why it is called a hole is because the mass of the planet itself is too high. That is, the gravity is too big. Gravity is so strong that even light cannot escape. Naturally, it looks like a round black hole, but in fact, it is an extremely dark planet. High quality and strong gravity. Great gravity, mass. The high quality also means that the texture of the planet itself is extremely hard. Even in such a tough situation, it can still be blown up with one shot. It is conceivable how powerful antimatter weapons are. This time, Zian gets two main guns. One, leaning toward the energy type, specially used to break the enemy's energy shield, and other energy-based defense methods. One is more physical, specially used to destroy enemy armor, very good, etc. Therefore, these two main guns pursue the most extreme penetration. In addition, the secondary battery is still responsible for range damage. There is nothing to say about this. Let's talk about the calibers of these two main guns. Its diameter is more than 2,000 meters. Its main gun base occupies a large part of the starship. After all, if the power is to be strong enough, the main gun base must be strong enough. Then there are the secondary guns. Speaking of secondary guns, just the opposite of the main gun. The higher the level of the starship, the fewer the main guns, but the more secondary guns. The void ship level brilliance. The number of main guns reached a terrifying 2,600, and all of them are large-scale and highly lethal. Let's put it that way. With these 2,600 secondary guns firing at full strength, one round, all it takes is one handsome round. 10 star systems. Some were destroyed instantly. It's a void ship. Don't look at it as just a secondary gun, but the void ship level secondary guns also use trace amounts of antimatter as their ammunition and kinetic energy. Although the antimatter content is only a few tenths of a percent, but with the power, there is absolutely no problem with one shot of a star destroyer for a kid. Finally, there are the missiles. Missiles are essential for high-end starships. Don't look at it, it's already the age of the universe and interstellar space. But precisely because it is the age of the universe and interstellar space, today's missiles have already developed to unimaginable heights. How do you think a spaceship can completely destroy a star field in just 3 days? It is the missile used. Missiles of the cosmic interstellar age. And it's just the type of town ship. Its launch distance is enough to easily cover an entire medium-sized star field, even if it weren't for the fact that after the missile is launched, it takes a lot of time to fly. I'm afraid that the destruction is not a matter of a star field. Can you imagine what it would be like to be in the corner of a star field, standing still, and destroying an entire star field just by relying on missiles? It's absolutely blasting. The missiles of the Void ship class brilliant, although it cannot cover the entire star field, but the quality and biological blessings are there. Covering 1/10 of the star field is no problem. 3. Therefore, missiles are an indispensable weapon. What's more, missiles with 20% antimatter content were also activated. No smaller than the main gun, and the attack range is super long. It is an indispensable weapon therefore. On the brilliance, the number of missile launch bays arranged by Zian reached an astonishing 666. And they are all missile launch bays with the ultimate diameter of a void ship. Great power, super long range, covering 1/10 of the star field is definitely not a problem. Then there's the engine. The hyperlight engine is an engine that will never become obsolete even in ancient ships. A void ship-level hyperlight propulsion engine. Its speed is calculated based on hundreds or 1,000 times the speed of light. Needless to say, Zian's brilliant account. The best engine ever used, plus fairy quality. The maximum speed reached 2,800 times the speed of light. This is an extremely frightening speed. Space jump engine. A few hours, across a star cluster, no problems at last. It's the defense system. They are all already void ships. In terms of defense, of course it cannot be shabby. The core armor of the entire ship, AGA, 4 energy shield devices are directly destroyed by a 4-way cross. Just this defense. Ordinary void ships can only make their scalp numb. This is the evolution of the main components of the brilliance. The remaining parts still maintain the golden legendary quality. And with such a huge void ship, Zian would no longer be harsh on his living conditions. The captain's living room covers an area of more than 2,000 square meters. It covers areas for rest, entertainment, and practice. There is absolutely enough space. A plant cultivation room is also essential. It has also expanded a lot. After all, the subsequent growth of the entire brilliant army is inseparable from Haixing's natural resources and treasures. Naturally, the plant cultivation room cannot be small. Basically, this is the entire evolution of the brilliance. The starship of the ladies. There's not much to say. The 2 daughters, Hu Chi-chi and Qin Fuio, still continuing their extreme firepower. Apart from firepower, there are almost no other configurations. The same goes for Haitang, the ultimate main gun firepower. The 2 girls of Taimai and Taz. The ultimate defense. The ultimate defense for the size of a void ship, and it is also of fairy quality. Let's put it that way. The defensive capabilities of the 2 female starships, even if they stand still and let ordinary void ships attack, they may fight for a day and night. If the 2 females do not repair the energy shield, perhaps it would be possible to blow up their energy shields. The key energy shield is gone, and there is an even more outrageous core box. The defense of the 2 women. It is enough to make the void ship despair, give the vertical starship a headache, and make the Zhenyu ship dignified. 2 daughters, by Zioniao and Chu Tianj. Ultimate space and various support capabilities. Even in the starships of Taj and Taimai, Zian specially built a 200 square meter living room for them to rest. Only the 2 girls, by Zioniao and Chu Tianj, because the space in their starship is too precious.
Therefore, their living room is at the level of a void ship, but it is still only 50 square meters. Of course, normal daily life is definitely enough, but I want to live more comfortably. That's basically impossible. Miao's Iomi and Lu Yuiu mainly focus on speed and agility. Their starship has only 1 main gun, but the main gun of their starship is one with 25% antimatter content. The main gun base is even 5 times the size of Zian's 2 main gun bases. Unimaginable. Their main gun went down this time. Just hit it. How much damage will be done? Even the vertical starship might not be able to withstand too many attacks from the native girl. That's all the evolution of the brilliant fleet into the void ship this time. Not much to say. Everything is ready. Evolution officially begin. This evolution, except for Zian and the girls present. Teachers such as Master Wan Zhongshan and Uncle Chen were also present, watching curiously. Watching Zian, the most outrageous and talented genius in the history of the human race. In terms of evolutionists, how far has it gone against the will of heaven? The reason why it is said that Zian is the most outrageous and talented genius in the history of the human race, that is because they never expected it. Zian, quietly, they are all already 6th grade evolution masters. You can independently evolve the void ship, and it's still diamond-colored fairy quality, original. Wan Zhongshan planned to personally evolve the starship for Zian and the girls of the brilliant fleet. By the way, let Zian read and learn more result. Zian told him he can do it himself. Then Wan Zhongshan the young man Uncle Chen, and several other annihilation-level powerhouses were all at a loss and silent honestly. The news that Xu Zian is now a 6th grade evolutionist they were even more horrified than Xu Zian's talent in Star Wars. Advancement as an evolutionist is a mandatory condition, and it is much more difficult than practicing Star Wars, because the promotion of an evolutionist is accompanied by countless years of accumulated experience in evolving starships, and countless years of accumulated knowledge. The amount of evolutionary knowledge required is unimaginable. It's an exchange of time. Now, but you told me, Xu Zian, a young man less than 40 years old, it turns out. What the hell? At this age, achievements that would take others at least thousands of years to achieve, a height that may not even be reached in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of years. Everyone was silent. Then they all came running. You have to see it with your own eyes. Xu Zian's talent as an evolutionist in the end. How outrageous it is. Wang Zhongshan and others were all numb during this period. Of course they knew that Xu Zian's evolutionist talent was incredible. I never thought it would be so outrageous these past 3 years. Xu Zian has indeed always asked him for some knowledge on evolution, but most of the people I asked for advice were relatively one-sided. But now he just really realized it. The content that Xu Zian asked for advice was really applied and it is directly used in advanced evolutionary technology. Void ship level 4 cross-fire fighting technology. Pure evolutionary technology at the void ship level. Void ship level triangular solid detection technology. Void ship level multi-body metal identification technology, etc., etc. Even void ship level diamond-colored fairy quality technology. All in all, they were all deeply shocked, and it shocked Wang Zhongshan, one of the top evolutionists in the human race, and even in the universe. Watching the starship evolve step by step in Xu Zian's hands, Wang Zhongshan et al. Except sigh, still sighing. This talent, the seed of a perfect 9th grade evolutionist. It's almost a certainty because, thinking about his Wang Zhongshan days, he was far from comparable to Xu Zian in terms of talent. Looking at Xu Zian's eyes, I liked it even more. Time flies. Just 1 month passed. In the supergiant evolution factory, a total of 11 full-size void ships were parked quietly in front of them, although motionless. But the terrifying power it exuded made no one dare to ignore how ferocious its fighting power would be. Not to mention the women. It's Xu Zian himself. I am very satisfied with this evolution. The specific combat effectiveness is still unclear. All we have to do is wait for an opportunity later and fight the enemy, and everything will be known. Master, let's leave first. Xu Zian greeted his master with a soft smile on his face. The master nodded and said, "Go ahead. Fight hard and practice hard in these 5 years while gathering enough evolution points. Thoroughly integrate what I have learned in the past 3 years. 5 years later, we are still here waiting for you." Xu Zian grinned and said hello to Mr. Chen and other teachers. Then he took the girls on the way to leave, but Qiu Taoyu did not follow. She will continue to practice alone, prepare to join the brilliant fleet in the future. She has already confirmed that she will join the brilliant fleet. So start now. She had to start trying to accumulate as many evolution points as possible. After bidding farewell to Wang Zhongshan and others, Xu Zian and the others left here directly. The fleet is sailing in the heart of humanity's star field. This time, no one noticed the queue anymore because the brilliant fleet collectively broke through the void ship level. No one knows yet. Traveling in the majestic and extremely prosperous star field, Xu Zian and the girls took a look at what happened in the universe in the past 3 years. These 3 years, every day is too full. I am so tired every day that I fall asleep. Where do you have the energy to pay attention to what is happening in the universe? You might even take a look occasionally at first. Less than a month has passed, but I didn't even bother to look at it. The first thing Xu Zian paid attention to, it was still the impact of the action 3 years ago. Killed so many unparalleled talents and geniuses from the Inhumans and insects. Presumably, the Inhumans and insects will definitely not be able to give up. In fact, it was exactly as Xu Zian had guessed these past 3 years. The Inhumans and insects seem to be going crazy. Launch crazy revenge against the other two ethnic groups. Yes, the Inhumans and the insects also launched crazy revenge on each other. The reason is simple. They dare not join forces. Not to mention, the ones who suffered the most serious damage were actually the Chinese people. Zian is indeed planning to take action against the super geniuses of the Inhumans, but unfortunately, before he could take action, he was stopped. Therefore, the most severely damaged are the insectoids. As for the insects, it is absolutely impossible for them to take revenge on the cosmic human family alone, leaving the Inhumans to watch the show and pick up the pieces. 0. Please give me flowers. I also don't want to see myself fighting life and death with the human race in the universe, and the Inhuman race will end up being the only one. So, every time he takes action against the humans in the universe, it is bound to attack the Inhumans as well at most. That is, the revenge against the human race in the universe will be more fierce. This is normal. Needless to say about the Inhumans, although the Inhumans and insects are also fighting each other, but there is one thing to say. 0. About 60% of their power is actually aimed at the human race of the universe. Add 2 by 2. The human race in the universe has 100% strength, but actually faces 120% enemies. The pressure is huge. Fitzit, the Inhumans and insects officially would not dare to join forces to mainly target the cosmic humans. 18. Those people among the people. They can't control it. The people of the two ethnic groups, the Inhumans and the insects, hated Zian to the core of their hearts, especially the insectoids. Zian killed so many of their super geniuses. I wish I could give Zian a cramp and pull out his bones. Naturally, the vast majority of these extremely angry civil forces flocked to the cosmic human race and started a life and death fight with the cosmic human race. Naturally, the folk power of the human race in the universe will not give up. A large number of strong men poured into the battlefield. Every day, countless people died, but more people poured in die. In the interstellar age, it seems to be more cruel than the old society. All in all, in the past 3 years, the human race in the universe is living a very uncomfortable life. Because this is only about the battlefield, there are also a lot of assassinations, there are a lot of conspiracies and tricks, etc., which can be said to be endless. 3 years down, all human beings in the universe are in dire straits, and among them, then take Zian's territory. Yumai Nebula is the best. Yumai Nebula these past 3 years suffered too many scars. Let's put it that way. If it weren't for the Yumai Nebula, a large number of strong men stationed there, and the presence of the Tsai army, I am afraid I have been beaten tens of thousands of times by angry enemies. As for these strong men stationed there, not someone else, they are all the ancestors who were saved by Zian, as well as their relatives and friends. Shu Lingson, a senior at the starship level, and his son Li Shidao. This is a vertical starship and a township. Yes, Li Shidao. Now he has resigned from his original position and joined Zian's Yumai Nebula, whether it's because he repays his kindness or because he sees Zian's future potential. Anyway, he joined Yumai Nebula. A dignified and capable person became Zian's subordinate. Then there is Yin Heike and his Black Cavalry fleet. This is another Zenu level fleet. Not to mention, in addition, there are those peerless geniuses in the Brilliant Army who are at the Zenu level, the Zong Star level, and the Void level. In addition, there are also people like Yazan and Yalao, who was the one who wanted to kill Zian after Lan won in the counter universe, etc., etc. So much so, if it weren't for Mr. Lumalu, who became the guardian of the A-level battlefield in Yumai Nebula, I'm afraid he has already joined Yumai Nebula. But, having said that, he is the guardian of the A-level battlefield of Yumai Nebula. In name, he can also be regarded as a member of Yumai Nebula. All in all, today's Yumai Nebula, the strong ones are like clouds. It doesn't look like a nebula-level force at all. It is said that it is a galaxy-level force, and there is not even any problem. Perhaps Even the lowest level galaxy level forces are not as powerful as Yumi Nebula. In addition, there is a brilliant army composed entirely of geniuses, and a collection of thousands of ordinary geniuses, top geniuses, and peerless geniuses. Even though he has suffered many assassinations in the past 3 years. For example, Gu Changshan, the current manager of Yumi Nebula, has suffered multiple assassinations. However, all of them were suppressed and killed by the strong men of Yumi Nebula, and the brilliant army. Also assassinated were Ji Liang, the commander of the Federal Army directly under Yumi Nebula, and Jin Qingying, who was in charge of Yumi Nebula's economic development. All were similarly assassinated more than once. It was a near miss every time. Yumi Nebula. Nowadays, there is really no peace of mind at all, but instead, he lives in this kind of uneasiness. It is developing and growing step by step for 3 years, even if Zian is not here at all. However, the directly affiliated Federal Army and the Brilliant Army have been growing and becoming stronger. Like the Federal Army, it has been nearly 10 years since Zian took charge of Yumi Nebula, and the number of directly affiliated federal troops. Today, there are impressively more than 12 million people. Yes, 12 million people. To know, this is the Federal Army directly under Zian. And the standard for joining the Federal Army is the minimum cruiser captain level. That is to say now, under Zian's command, he has an army of 12 million people who are loyal to him, and all members are at least cruiser level or above. Then came the Brilliant Army. Because of the harshness of the standards for joining the Bright Army, and the extremely stringent review difficulty, the growth rate of the Brilliant Army is naturally far inferior to that of the Federal Army. But even so, 3 years down, especially after Zian became famous in the universe last time, countless geniuses who crazily worshipped him came to join Zian's Brilliant Army. *04. The Brilliant Army has a total of 15,000 official members. All members are at least immortal level or above. In addition, there are at least 100,000 geniuses who are at least top genius level. Now they are all training in the Federal Army. They all do not have the strength to meet the criteria for joining the Brilliant Army. Therefore, you need to practice. After your strength reaches the immortal level, and there are no problems in the life experience review, you will be included in the Brilliant Army, and become one of them. And 15,000 immortals will come down in 3 years. He has also gone through countless battles. On the battlefield, there are also various assassinations encountered inside Yumi Nebula, etc. He has accumulated countless combat experience, and the Emperor's evolution value but mortality rate. But it's also super high. At least 3,000 people died. At least 3,000 people in the Brilliant Army died. All members of the Brilliant Army are at least top-notch geniuses. Regardless of looking at the entire human race in the universe, top geniuses seem to be nothing at all. But actually, take the solar system as an example. In the solar system, there are only 1 or 2 top geniuses who emerge every year in the college entrance examination. Not even most of the time. The solar system has a population of over 1 trillion. This allows you to imagine how rare the number of top talents actually is. But 3,000 people died directly. Let's put it that way. Last year, the number of geniuses who reached the top level in the entire Earth Federation was only 2,800. Tell the truth, even Zian felt very distressed when he saw this number of deaths. Not to mention, there are also some demon-level geniuses among them. Even geniuses. To know, before Zian awakened, there was not even a single genius in the entire Earth Federation. But, want to grow. The Brilliant Army wants to reach the height set by Zian. This must be experienced. I roughly read the various events in the universe sent by Jiang Yaoyao in the past 3 years, as well as the situation of Yumi Nebula in the past 3 years. Zian's face was expressionless actually, although the main managers of Yumi Nebula were not successfully assassinated, but the rest of the people were still killed due to assassination. There were even 12 star systems that were destroyed by the assassinating inhumans and insects. Snort. Zian snorted coldly. These damn things. Originally, I wanted to take a break when I came out this time, Stop being so extreme and continue to stimulate the insects and inhumans. 2.8 B. Now it seems they don't teach you a lesson at all. That works. Then don't say anything these 5 years. I will fight with you. IEF. I have always had a plan, but I haven't implemented it yet this time. It just works on you. Thinking of this plan, Zian couldn't help but reveal a cruel smile. This plan, as long as the implementation is successful in humans and insectoids, it will definitely blow your brains out, right? Just right. It just so happens that all members of the brilliant fleet have evolved to the void ship level at present, except for the top leaders of the human race. No one else knows about this at all. Pound Bia. It just happened to be used in this plan. Want to implement this plan? First you have to find a good target. And there are 2 goals. No, strictly speaking, there are 3 goals. The first goal, it is the void ship fleet of the insect race. Second goal, it is the void ship fleet of the inhumans. The third goal, it is the immortal ship fleet of the cosmic human race. The plan is so simple that Zian even gave it a name. Start the fire. What does it mean to start a fire? It is to provoke the anger of both the inhumans and the insects' ultimate purpose. It was during the execution of the plan that while causing huge damage to the 2 races, the 2 sides fought wildly. In this way, the conflict will shift, and the pressure on the human race will be greatly reduced. Absolutely a good thing. Plan execution. Certain arrangements are also required. Think about it. Zian dialed the second senior sister Jingi's communication. Jingi quickly connected to 06, her voice bright and hearty. Junior brother, the special training is over. How was the harvest? Zian responded with a smile. Not bad, not bad. It's already a void ship. Jingi couldn't help but sigh. It has only been a short time, and it has already become a void ship, reaching a height that countless people would never dare to imagine in their lifetime. After a pause, he smiled and said, "You are looking for me, because you have something to do, right?" Zian said and said straight to the point, "I do have something to trouble second senior sister." Jingi's voice immediately became serious, and said, "Say it." Immediately, Zian expressed his thoughts. That's it. In the past few years, the inhumans and the insects have become somewhat different. It seems that they haven't long remembered what happened last time. So this time, I plan to give them another hard blow, and this requires your help. Second senior sister. The second senior sister, Jingi, currently serves as an intelligence executive in the Universal Human Federation. It is indeed very suitable to find her. Jingi's voice condensed. Play another big one. This, junior brother, you have to control yourself. Last time you killed so many unparalleled geniuses from the insects and inhumans. It's driving them crazy. If I stimulate them again, I'm afraid it will. Jingi's voice was filled with worry. As an executive of the intelligence department of the human race in the universe, she knows a lot of information that ordinary people don't know. So, she knew more clearly how angry the inhumans and insects were because of the last incident. According to some information, it is said that the insects, in particular, are the most angry because the people Zian killed the most were their geniuses. At least half of these geniuses are from some of the top families and top forces of the insect race. There are even direct descendants of those annihilation-level powerhouses of the insect race. I hate Zian with all my heart. Because of this, at that time, there were many annihilation-level experts from the insect race who proposed a war with the cosmic humans. Although it is certainly impossible to reach the level of racial war, however, a large-scale super war is inevitable. It is said that this order seems to have been approved by half. In the end, it was the eternal-level strongman from the bug human race who spoke out to stop it, and thus a super collision between 2 peak overlord races was avoided. It was precisely because he learned the news that Master Wan Zhongshan took the initiative to ask Zian not to stimulate him any further. And now, 3 years later, but Zian wanted to play a big game again. Should it be said or not? Even Jingi felt a little frightened, because it can be said to be big by Zian. Then this matter must not be trivial. One can't do it well. it is really possible for a super war between ethnic groups to break out. By then, the number of casualties will be incalculable. Xu Zian smiled helplessly. Of course he understood Qi Jingyi's worries and couldn't help but smile. Second senior sister, don't worry, I'm not that reckless. The war between ethnic groups cannot be decided overnight. Even if I really kill all the geniuses of the insect race and inhuman race, the heritage of the two races is here. It is certain that they will be injured, but because of this, I think they will damage the foundation. I am not that naive. At most, they can only be inactive. If you give them some time, they can recover as before. So this plan, if you say it is to stimulate, is also to stimulate them, but it is not the human race in our universe that stimulates them. I mean, a full-blown disguise, and then stir up hatred and strife between them, while causing huge losses to them. It will also drastically reduce the pressure on the human race in our universe, giving them more time to recuperate and develop. This is the ultimate goal of my plan. Hearing Xu Zian's words, Qi Jingyi immediately became interested and asked Xu Zian what his plan was. Xu Zian didn't hide anything, and said truthfully, actually, this plan is very simple. Currently, not many people know that our brilliant fleet has evolved into a void ship. Just in time, we will then target a certain void ship fleet among the Inhumans and insects and kill them secretly. After that, disguise themselves as theirs and attack the other party's territory. This caused the anger among them to reduce the pressure on the human race in our universe by 1.4 million. Before that, we need to find 10 immortal-class starships disguised as me and Qin Fuiao, and then find a void ship disguised as Musikia's starship. Just hang around in our human territory, and don't let them suspect that it was our cosmic human race who did it. Qi Jingyi was immediately shocked. She frowned with heroic eyebrows and pondered for a moment, then smiled bitterly and said, in fact, countless people have proposed your plan. But do you know why it's never been done? Just because I want to execute this plan. Nothing else but one thing. That is, you must master the perfect camouflage skills. Whether it's the appearance of the starship, identification of friend or foe, or even the length of the object. Everyone has to achieve a perfect level of disguise. Otherwise, it will definitely be discovered when the time comes. Speaking of this, Qi Jingyi couldn't help but shook her head. She said no more, but she believed that Xu Zian must understand what she meant. However, there was also a trace of doubt in my heart. She didn't believe it. Xu Zian didn't know the basis and difficulty of executing this plan. In this case, why did Xu Zian still bring it up? Is it possible? She seemed to have thought of a possibility, but the next second he shook his head and threw away this possibility. How is this possible?
If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee or checking out my shirts on TeePublic.
Just as Qi Jingyi said, how could Xu Zian not be clear about the foundation and difficulties of this plan? Indeed, his plan to stir up the flames is actually, to put it bluntly, a very, very simple strategy. But countless years, there are billions of ethnic groups, but no ethnic group has ever actually implemented this plan. The reason is just as Qi Jingyi said. Starship camouflage, identity friend-foe identification and camouflage, bio-captain disguise, all must achieve a perfect level of disguise. And the perfect disguise, let's put it that way, all universe, no evolutionist can do it. What is perfect disguise? For example, you disguise yourself as an enemy starship, so the disguised appearance and parts of your starship all must be real and usable. The effects, etc., must be exactly the same. Perfect identity identification and camouflage. Even if the eternal ship is here, it won't be able to detect anything unusual about your starship. Perfect character disguise. Then you have to be exactly the same as the disguised target. None of these three disguises would work without one of them, and no evolutionist can achieve any of these perfect disguises. Not to mention that all three must reach the perfect level. In a word, this plan, it is equivalent to you becoming a disguised target, but it can't be done for others. Xu Zian, of course there is no problem. After all, the super disguise ability that I acquired was just for this purpose. Although perfect disguise requires a huge amount of wealth, but Zian's wealth is worth a lot now. What's more, in this planned operation, I will definitely earn a lot of treasures. At that time, the lost wealth value can even be earned back in multiples. Just make money and not lose money. Thinking of this, Zian smiled slightly and said, "Second senior sister, I know what you are worried about. 17. Don't worry, I have completely mastered the 3 perfect camouflage techniques. There won't be any problems." Chi Jingya's expression was blank. Even the ladies of the brilliant fleet all had dumbfounded expressions. Then they all gasped. Camouflage technology. It is one of the most difficult techniques in the evolutionist profession. Mastering camouflage technology at Zian's age is already incredible. Now, but he has even mastered the perfect camouflage technique. Chi Jingyi opened her mouth wide, wanting to say something, but in the end nothing came out. She seemed to be slowly beginning to accept Zian's defiance. Didn't even ask. Instead, his expression suddenly became one of surprise, and he immediately said, "If that's the case, then there's no problem. As long as the plan is successful, even if the inhumans and insects are beaten out of their brains, they will never doubt us." Zian chuckled and said, "In that case, second senior sister had better prepare as soon as possible. Choose 11 biological captains who can be completely trusted, and I will disguise them first. By the way, during this period, let's take another look and decide which fleet to target." Chi Jingyi nodded immediately. "Okay, I'll make arrangements right away." Just as Chi Jingyi said, how could Zian not be clear about the foundation and difficulties of this plan? Indeed, his plan to stir up the flames is actually, to put it bluntly, a very, very, very simple strategy. But countless years, there are billions of ethnic groups, but no ethnic group has ever actually implemented this plan. The reason is just as Chi Jingyi said, starship camouflage, identity friend-foe identification and camouflage, bio-captain disguise, all must achieve a perfect level of disguise. And the perfect disguise, let's put it that way, all universe, no evolutionist can do it. What is perfect disguise? For example, you disguise yourself as an enemy starship, so the disguised appearance and parts of your starship all must be real and usable. The effects, etc., must be exactly the same. Perfect identity identification and camouflage. Even if the eternal ship is here, it won't be able to detect anything unusual about your starship. Perfect character disguise. Then you have to be exactly the same as the disguised target. None of these 3 disguises would work without one of them, and no evolutionist can achieve any of these perfect disguises. Not to mention that all 3 must reach the perfect level. In a word, this plan, it is equivalent to you becoming a disguised target, but it can't be done for others. Zian, of course there is no problem. After all, the super disguise ability that I acquired was just for this purpose. Although perfect disguise requires a huge amount of wealth, but Zian's wealth is worth a lot now. What's more, in this planned operation, I will definitely earn a lot of treasures. At that time, the lost wealth value can even be earned back in multiples. Just make money and not lose money. Thinking of this, Zian smiled slightly and said, "Second senior sister, I know what you are worried about. 17. Don't worry, I have completely mastered the 3 perfect camouflage techniques. There won't be any problems." Chi Jingya's expression was blank. Even the ladies of the brilliant fleet all had dumbfounded expressions. Then they all gasped. Camouflage technology. It is one of the most difficult techniques in the evolutionist profession. Mastering camouflage technology at Zian's age is already incredible. Now, but he has even mastered the perfect camouflage technique. Chi Jingyi opened her mouth wide, wanting to say something, but in the end nothing came out. She seemed to be slowly beginning to accept Zian's defiance. Didn't even ask. Instead, his expression suddenly became one of surprise, and he immediately said, "If that's the case, then there's no problem. As long as the plan is successful, even if the inhumans and insects are beaten out of their brains, they will never doubt us." Zian chuckled and said, "In that case, second senior sister had better prepare as soon as possible. Choose 11 biological captains who can be completely trusted, and I will disguise them first. By the way, during this period, let's take another look and decide which fleet to target. Qi Jingyi nodded immediately. Okay, I'll make arrangements right away. Listen to what Xu Zian said solemnly. These people also put away their other thoughts, and all nodded to express their understanding. Xu Zian nodded slightly, and then looked a little weird. He glanced at the 10 female captains in front of him, coughed slightly, and said, next, I will camouflage your appearance. Maybe there will be a little bit of something, so be mentally prepared. Hearing what Xu Zian said, the 10 female captains blushed one after another. But what surprised Xu Zian was that although they were a little shy, they were more expectant. They nodded hurriedly and said, "We know, it's okay, we don't mind." Xu Zian opened his mouth but said nothing. Appearance camouflage. Want to be perfect? Of course, you have to disguise your whole body. Even the pores, moles, etc. on the body must be exactly the same, visible. How difficult is it to achieve perfect disguise? In fact, there are more than just these 10 female captains. It also includes Qin Fuiyu and other girls. It also had to be clean and slippery for Xu Zian to disguise one by one according to the 10 female captains. Naturally, Qin Fuiyu and other women also knew. Qin Fuiyu, ManhwaRecap, and Haitang were all fine, but women like Hu Chi, Bai Ziyuan, Liu Yuiyu, it was a flustered, yet full of expectation. Shaking his head, he threw away the messy thoughts in his mind. Think no more. A big wave of his hand with Qin Fuiyu and the other girls, as well as the 10 female captains. He flew towards the dazzling fleet, preparing to camouflage his appearance. As for the male captain, who wants to disguise himself as Xu Zian, he, of course I have to wait outside obediently. Such blessing, only Xu Zian can enjoy it exclusively. Qin Fuiyu, Haitang, and ManhwaRecap were fine. Kehu Chi, Bai Ziyuan, Chu Tianj, Mu Ziku, Liu Yuiyu. Her face was so red that it was almost dripping with water. As for the 2 daughters Taimai and Taj, just their devilish musclemen, Terminator, and biological mutation types. Xu Zian really didn't pay attention to their emotions and expressions. Xu Zian has no idea whether he is blushing or not. Look at the other side. Those 10 female captains have completely changed. She has become exactly the same as Qin Fuiyu and other girls, without any difference, just like a clone. Even the arrangement of a small pore on the body makes no difference. Xu Zian looked at them with an extremely solemn expression. During this period, I hope you will not have contact with anyone of the opposite sex. You must also never have any physical contact with anyone of the opposite sex. Even letting the opposite sex see part of your body is absolutely not allowed. Do you understand? When this operation is over, I will restore you to your original appearance. But not before that. What I just said is absolutely not allowed to happen. This point is very important. Xu Zian said it extremely seriously. In fact, when communicating with second senior sister Qi Jingyi, Xu Z750, and has made this clear. These 10 female captains already knew these orders before they came, but now Xu Zian reminded them again. The reason is simple. Although they are not the real children of Qin Fuiyu and Haitang, 8. Their bodies were disguised by Xu Zian to look exactly the same. If he comes into contact with someone of the opposite sex, Xu Zian will go crazy. They are not the real Qin Fuiyu and the others, but Xu Zian will never allow that to happen, not even if it is seen by the opposite sex. How could Hu Chi and other women not understand the meaning of Xu Lihaowen's words? All of them gave Xu Zian a pretty look, but she felt sweet in her heart because they knew what Xu Zian meant when he said these words. But don't they just regard them as his private property? What does that mean? Do you even need to say it? The 10 female captains all nodded solemnly to express their understanding. I know, we will definitely do it. We understand. We understand. We have never had a boyfriend before, and we never will in the future, let alone this time. Yes, we will definitely cover ourselves tightly and kill all the male flies within 10 meters. Lord Xu, if you are worried, You can monitor us around the clock. Yes, just hang a single channel camera on us and watch the whole process, so you can rest assured. Right, this is a good idea. With a single channel camera, no one else can see it, and hackers can never break it. Only you, Lord Shu, can see it? This is a good idea. These 10 female captains were actually suggested by you and Shu Zian. Shu Zian coughed lightly and said, I am that kind of person. Well, since your hospitality is hard to refuse, let's do what you said. All the girls covered their lips and smiled softly, and those 10 female captains all looked at Hu Chi and other girls with envy in their eyes. Their idol Shu Zian even cares about these aspects, even to the point of being a little petty. Obviously, he was deeply in love with Hu Chi and the others. I'm so envious. But he quickly shook his head. They know it is impossible for them and Shu Zian. Just when they were disguising their identities, Shu Zian's eyes were extremely clear. From this point, we can understand after it was Shu Zian who made a separate disguise for the male captain, who was pretending to be himself. Disguising him as himself, Shu Zian looks a little weirder. After that, he also gave some warnings. He didn't want the other party to pretend to be himself, and then mess around. So give him strict orders. Although even if Shu Zian didn't say it, he would never do that kind of thing. After all, he was chosen by Qi Jingyi because of his absolute loyalty. But if Shu Zian doesn't give a warning, he won't worry. Everything is ready. The disguise of the personnel could not be more perfect. Next, it's just a disguise on a starship, because it is a camouflage technology purchased directly from the system. No need to think too much at all. Just follow the camouflage steps given. From the inside out, every component and even every screw is disguised to be exactly the same. This is definitely a huge project. After all, it is definitely not an easy task to completely transform it. A full half-month passed. The starship disguise has finally come to an end. At this moment, this is in no man's sky. There are 10 immortal ships and 1 void ship in total, standing quietly. These 10 immortal ships. It is completely disguised according to the level of the brilliant fleet's immortal ship. No matter which angle you look at it, even if it is identification of friend or foe, they are exactly the same as the dazzling fleet at the immortal ship level, without any difference. Shu Zian nodded with satisfaction. This is the level of disguise. Even if the eternal level comes, Shu Zian also has absolute confidence that no one can recognize. At the same time, these 11 people, these days, they have also been learning from the people in their respective disguises. Learn their words and deeds, learn their every move, etc. Only one thing is different. The degree of intimacy between Shu Zian and the girls is something that cannot be learned. But that's okay. They are exactly the same in other aspects, except for the difference in intimacy with the girls. I believe that no one will doubt it. Everything is ready. Shu Zian said, okay. Next, just follow the plan. In the next period of time, you will also bear certain risks, because you may be assassinated or even killed by the enemy at any time. But it doesn't matter. You will stay on the battlefield most of the time. On the battlefield, we have many strong men. As long as you don't risk your own death, there will be no problem. These 11 people nodded hurriedly to express their understanding. After Shu Zian gave a few more instructions, he waved his hand and asked them to leave. Watching their leaving figures, the corners of Shu Zian's mouth raised slightly. He believes it. Wait for them to show up. The eyes of the whole universe will be attracted by them that time. It's time to really start your plan. During this time, Shu Zian has been paying attention to the void ship fleet level targets of the Inhumans and insects, but I never found the opportunity. Wanting to replace them is actually not an easy task. First, make sure there is no one around them within a certain range. For example, it cannot be in a certain star system. Otherwise, if you launch an attack, it will most likely be leaked. It's best to wait until they're in some no man's sky environment. That's the best. Secondly, just have to ambush them. To prevent fighting, they were unable to deliver messages back. This requires the use of signal shielding technology products. Of course, it would be best to kill them instantly at last. This fleet cannot be too famous, nor can it be completely unknown. If you are too famous, it will be easier for you to find flaws. and its complete lack of fame basically means that its strength will not be too strong. It will definitely be detrimental to Zian and his team's next actions. Besides, in terms of number of people, they have to be consistent. That is 11 void ships. After eliminating various factors, seriously, there really isn't much left. In such a huge universe, there are 2 peak overlord groups. Finally, Zian only screened out 3 fleets that met the standards. Nothing much to say. What to do now? Just wait. Wait for the opportunity to come. 3 years later, news of the brilliant fleet appearing again. It attracted the attention of countless people. The media rushed to report it. Almost all eyes were attracted by this bright fleet, and actually, those who really knew the inside story were all confused. Autumn Peach Rain, Wan Zhongshan, Uncle Chen and the others. They were really confused. He even wondered if he had experienced time and space confusion. Nothing to say. 10,000 mountains. Zian was contacted immediately. The first sentence he spoke was astonishment. Xiaoan, what is this? Obviously, even if it's him, I was also a little confused by this scene. Judging from the video passed back from media reports, that resplendent fleet was the resplendent fleet at the immortal ship level. The most important thing is, the identification of friend or foe is exactly the same. The most important thing is, through the cockpit glass, you can clearly see the driver inside. It is Zian and the girls. So, they were confused. Of course, it's not like I didn't guess some possibilities in my mind, but this guess made even Wan Zhongshan and the others gasp. Obviously, this guess really made them feel extremely incredible. No, I'll come with Zian right away to ask for confirmation. You can even hear the tremor in Wan Zhongshan's tone. Roar, if it's really what he guessed. Zian laughed. Obviously, he had expected this situation. He smiled and replied, Master, you will know the details later. Believe me, I will definitely give you a surprise when the time comes. Zian didn't say it clearly. Naturally, I am not afraid that my ability to carry out 3 perfect camouflage techniques will be leaked. Actually, let's talk about these 3 perfect camouflage techniques. Compared with the methods I have shown before, it's nothing. So, after hearing Zian's words, Wan Zhongshan was silent for a moment. Then he chuckled and said, Okay, I won't ask anymore. Then I'm waiting for your surprise. Immediately, Wan Zhongshan ended the communication with a smile. The Wanzhong mountainside is done. Next, just wait. Time flies. A full 4 months have passed. And this time period, the brilliant fleet has always attracted much attention. Of course, this is also part of Zian's plan. This wide attention is actually a matter of going on in an open and above-board way, not being secretive. Letting everyone in the universe know what you are doing, that's enough. In the 4th month, the brilliant fleet arrived at the Yumai Nebula. As soon as they arrived at Yumai Nebula, they dived into the A-level battlefield. The main reason was to avoid contact with Gu Changshan and Zhan Wushuang as much as possible. After all, they are all people who are very familiar with Zian. There is a risk of identity exposure, although Zian absolutely trusts them. But it's also to avoid unnecessary trouble. 0. Please give me flowers. If it can be avoided, it is naturally better to avoid it. And after 4 months of waiting, finally, let Zian wait for the opportunity. The target he was waiting for this time was a Void-class fleet of the insects. He is very powerful and has been on various battlefields all year round. It is a relatively famous fleet, especially its captain is even the most outstanding talent in the previous term. Yes, unparalleled genius. Don't think that just because you are a genius, you must be as awesome as other geniuses. The peerless genius and the peerless genius are also different. There are some peerless geniuses who are very powerful. There are also some peerless geniuses who, after thousands of years, still cannot compare to the peerless geniuses of the same generation in terms of cultivation. 0. Of course, this is just about cultivation, because breakthroughs in cultivation often rely on luck. In terms of combat ability, after all, he is a peerless genius, absolutely nothing weak, except that his captain is an unparalleled genius. Its members are not mediocre either. The worst are geniuses at the level of ordinary monsters. They are all geniuses, which means that in future plans, even if Zian and the others fight at a higher level, they will not arouse many people's suspicion. The most important is its fleet configuration is similar to the case fleet configurations such as support ships, firepower ships, etc. Anyway, one of the most perfect goals. 4 months of waiting at this time. This fleet is in a certain star system, and this star system, from the intelligence point of view, it's the private star system they purchase themselves. There are no other people living inside. Although it is not No Man's Sky, it is somewhat disappointing, but if you make some preparations before taking action, there will be no problem. Think of this. Zian no longer hesitated. Contact Qi Jingyi immediately. Let them send another batch of the most high-end signal jammers as quickly as possible. After all, it covers a star system and its surroundings. There is no harm in having more of this kind of thing. 3 days later, everything is ready. Zian opened a direct wormhole on the spot. There was no hesitation with the girls. Just flew in and lost money. Kenwood Star System. It is a private star system purchased by the Kenwood fleet, located in a remote area of a large galaxy of the Zerg race. The Kenwood fleet is a fleet that is quite famous in the universe. The fleet ranking has been hovering around the top 35 in the Tianjiao fleet list all year round. This ranking is already quite impressive. This time, on the battlefield, after killing many strong men from the human race in the universe, then he returned to the Kenwood star system to recuperate. This is also their habit. No matter how fierce the battle is, no matter how hard you practice, but some enjoyment is essential. Maybe it's because I'm too greedy for pleasure. As a result, they were all geniuses from the previous generation, but they were already being overtaken by the geniuses and genius fleets of this generation. But they don't care about this. Life is boundless. Life is infinite. You can improve anytime you practice. Enjoyable but essential. For example, one of the members of the fleet was chatting with a girl from the soft-bodied insect race that he had recently flirted with, enjoying the adoring eyes of the girl opposite him, and looking at the green mucus on the girl opposite him. He couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. What beautiful slime! Sure enough, to pick up girls, you have to pick up girls from the soft-bodied insect race. Just as the conversation was getting underway, suddenly the virtual projection of the girl opposite him suddenly flashed a few times on his bare arm. His brows frowned slightly, but the next second, the flashes returned to normal. He immediately shook his head, and did not take this matter to heart. Just think that the dark matter in this universe became unstable for a moment. Although this situation is rare, it is not unheard of. Not very unusual. Continuing to talk sweet words, the soft-bodied insect human girl opposite was so shy that she seemed to secrete more green mucus on her body. He was so greedy that his eyes widened. What a nice view. She truly deserves to be the most beautiful girl in the black-spotted, green liquid caterpillar tribe. It truly lives up to its reputation. This green mucus is secreted too vigorously. Just chatting suddenly, all communications were suddenly interrupted. He was stunned for a moment. Immediately he seemed to think of something. His expression suddenly changed wildly. Almost at the same time, the roar from the captain reached Evrion's ears through the communicator. Under attack, ready to fight. Almost at the moment the sound fell, the members of the Kenwood fleet did not hesitate. Rush to your starship as fast as possible. Get ready to fight. What confused them was, why is their signal blocked completely? But it wasn't until they boarded their respective starships and prepared for battle. But there is still no sign of the enemy. There were no shells to hit them. Is it possible? Is it really just a problem with the dark matter network? But can this kind of problem really occur in the dark matter network? I tried many times, but still couldn't contact the outside world. This made them feel very strange. There was silence for a moment. Captain Kenwood fleet also had a hint of doubt and said in a deep voice, "Don't let your guard down, W. There will definitely be no problems with the dark matter network. There must be an enemy who cut off our signal. Since they don't dare to show up, let's go to hell. We want to see who is playing tricks here." Having said this, Captain Kanwu took the lead and flew out of the star system with his fleet members. In my heart, although I was very solemn, but there was no fear at all, because in his opinion, if the enemy is really strong, why not attack them directly after blocking their signal? Presumably the strength should not be very strong at this moment. Maybe there is an ambush somewhere. Suddenly he smiled coldly, immediately took the fleet members to leave the star system to search. Kanwood is outside the star system, in a certain area. The brilliant fleet, all starships, are in a state of optical stealth. In the bright number, Zian warned again, Taj, remember this. You don't have to worry about anything later. Your only mission is to completely protect this Kanwood star system for me. Absolutely no damage will be allowed. Taj nodded quickly to show her understanding. Yes, Captain, don't worry, I know how to do it. Zian nodded and said no more. The reason why it was so troublesome to wait for them to come out, and why Taj was specially asked to protect the Kanwood star system. The purpose is simple, just to prevent damage to the Kanwood star system. As for the reason, of course, something happened to the Kanwood star system, such as being blown up once discovered by the bugs. They also use the identity of the Kanwood fleet to kill various people in the Inhumans. Wouldn't it be possible to see through the conspiracy of the human race in the universe in a matter of minutes? Therefore, this Kanwood star system is not only immobile, but also well preserved, and after the battle, we still have to clean up all the starship wreckage of the Kanwood fleet, restore all battlefields, do everything possible not to make the Chinese people suspicious. As he was talking, Zian suddenly focused his eyes and said immediately, the prey is out of the cage and ready to fight. The girls immediately entered into battle preparations, and at this moment, Taz starship is right next to the star system. The starship of the Kanwood fleet passed by Taz starship, but was not noticed at all. This is the highlight of Diamond Fairy Quality 4.0, diamond-colored fairy quality optical stealth and various stealth coatings and stealth devices. Let fleets of the same level stand next to each other and not even be able to detect its existence. Even Taj, who is so close, can't be found, let alone discovering Zian and the others. Zian smiled lightly. In fact, it's now. The plan is already half successful. Waiting quietly, waiting for them to approach. A few minutes later, Zian suddenly issued an order, attack. Strive for instant sales. At the same time as the sound sounded, Zian launched the first attack. His goal, naturally, it is Kanwood, the captain of the fleet and the last generation's unparalleled talent. The moment Zian gave the order, the girls are already ready to go. In an instant, his strongest combat power exploded. The sky-wide firepower surged straight towards the target. Try to kill instantly in one round. And at this moment, Kanwood fleet, looking at the 11 starships that suddenly emerged from optical stealth, as well as the cannonballs. Evrion's expressions change. It's not because of the strength of this mysterious fleet. It's because this mysterious fleet can perform optical stealth at such a close range. But they didn't notice it at all. All of them fully demonstrate 1 point. The starship quality of this mysterious fleet may far exceed theirs. But no matter what, it's useless to think about this now. Kanwood immediately roared, fight. Immediately, he controlled his starship to evade. While evading, counterattack Zian's brilliant horn. However, he was horrified to find out, no matter how he dodges or avoids, it was as if he couldn't avoid it, and the 06 shells from the opposite side rushed towards him, as if they had eyes. If by this time, he still doesn't understand that he has encountered a strong man, and a fleet of strong men, that is much more powerful than him. That's stupid, although I don't understand where this fleet comes from. Who is it? But I still prepared for the worst immediately. He roared an order, break out immediately. Break out, go to a starship, and then release all the reconnaissance drones of the support ship to break out. Escape from the signal blockade area, and report the situation here as soon as possible. Immediately, the support ships in his fleet immediately released all reconnaissance drones, but it's of no use when there is mental arithmetic but no intention. How could Zian not have expected this situation? These reconnaissance drones were directly attacked by Hu Chu and The reconnaissance drones of Bai Ziowen and Chu Tianj have long been distributed and hidden in various surrounding areas. The wait is now. One after another, the drones immediately headed towards the drones of the Kenhold fleet. In just one round, these drones will be killed instantly. Although the reconnaissance drone of Bai Xiaoming, Chu Tianj and Ernu was not used for combat, but neither is the Animus. As for their reconnaissance drones, which are of higher quality and have stronger capabilities, just press him to the ground and kill him. The kind without any surprises. Look here again. A blow from the brilliant fleet. It's finally here. It is also the first battle for the brilliant fleet after all members were promoted to the void ship level. When the brilliant fleet is at the star destroyer level, they can all unite to blow up a vertical starship. At the immortal ship level, it can even blow up a fleet of void ships. Let alone now, even if the other party is also a genius, there is even a peerless genius among them, it is still impossible to have any power to fight back. Still being ambushed, there is no possibility of a comeback, only one round. On the other side of the girls, there was terrifying firepower. He easily blew up the 2 support ships and 3 other starships on the opposite side, but it's just that the starship exploded, deliberately avoiding its cockpit to prevent the opponent from dying, because if you keep them, they will be useful later. It is also an extremely important part of the plan. Xu Zian's side, it didn't kill the opponent instantly, but it's almost the same as instant kill. Actually, if it weren't for Ken Wu De's life, instant kill, not a problem at all. But even so, the opponent's engine, the other party's communicator, the opponent's weapon system, the opponent's anyway, except for a cockpit, the rest of the parts are all riddled with holes. The terrifying combat effectiveness of the void ship class brilliance can be seen from this. Yes, it's you, Xu Zian. You are Xu Zian. You are the dazzling fleet. At this time, Ken Wu De finally confirmed the identity of this fleet through various attack methods of the brilliant fleet and the cockpit glass. The voice changed, became angry, boiled with rage. He never expected it. Xu Zian and his dazzling fleet. Actually, they dared to come to their insect race. Is it true that he and the cosmic humans behind him are not afraid that the insect humans will desperately launch a super war? But after the anger, it's astonishment, it's panic, it's despair. I was shocked that the brilliant fleet, which had not been seen for just 3 years, appeared again and was already at the void ship level. Such a promotion speed is appalling, and terrified and despairing. Since it is Xu Zian and his brilliant fleet, then this time he and his fleet may really be doomed, etc. Before he passed out, an idea suddenly appeared in my mind. If I remember correctly, 4 months ago, $71 seem. Hasn't the brilliant fleet already appeared among the humans in the universe? The media of the human race in the universe are constantly reporting on it. There's even a video. It can be clearly seen. In the video, it's the brilliant fleet, and it's Xu Zian. This is absolutely impossible to admit. It's not surprising why the brilliant fleet appeared here. The entire universe is well aware of the brilliant fleet's ability to appear and disappear. The weird thing is, brilliant fleet, shown in the video, it's still just a damn immortal level. 327. Why did it suddenly become a void level now? Moreover, all members are still void level. Ken Wu De looked confused. My mind is a little hard to turn around. But suddenly, another flash of inspiration. He seemed to have thought of the most unbelievable and incredible possibility. Could it be that? So, is that fake? Is this dazzling fleet in front of me real? The human race in the universe is it in disguise? But what is the significance of Xu Zian's doing this? Think of this. His whole body was instantly soaked in cold sweat. Understand why the brilliant fleet suddenly appeared here, and they have to ambush them. It's even more necessary to cut off their signal. You know, this has never happened before in all the actions of the brilliant fleet. Thinking again about the configuration and level of their fleet, he seemed to understand something. His face changed wildly, and he wanted to commit suicide without even thinking about it. Even if I die, I absolutely cannot. But it's a pity him now. Even if you want to die, it can't be done either. A supershock shell from the secondary gun suddenly exploded next to him. The violent shock effect caused him to faint instantly. The moment of fainting, he understands it's over. Something big is going to happen.
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.